And I want to get your opinions now on some Manchester United points because in the last two games, there's been a certain that I've noticed like their style. They've got some results. They got a result against Liverpool, but they were in the game against Chelsea for a while. Eric Ten Hag saying some really weird comments about how dominated and deserved to win. But what are you making of Manchester United's style? Having no shots on target until Bruno Fernandes the last one from the halfway line against Liverpool. Is it becoming frustrating, or are you thinking like maybe under this Eric Ten Hag style we can pick up points and get somewhere? To me, from an outsider's point of view and a non-Manchester United fan, it's quite confusing. I thought Eric Ten Hag's Ajax side were quite exciting, but this United side, it just seems to be the opposite at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, look, I probably take more criticism on board than from rival fans looking outside who aren't in the trenches seeing it every minute and knowing what's going on around the club than I would from some of our ex-players and fans at the moment, because there was an interesting set of comments from Gary Neville at the weekend where he was talking about Manchester United are the worst team in possession. They concede so many chances. It's embarrassing. Are the players playing for the manager? And then I found an article from 3 years ago under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer where he said, we're conceding loads of chances. We're so bad out of possession. It's embarrassing. Yeah, and I thought, even Gary Neville doesn't realise he's on that 3-year cycle that we've been on for 10 years. If I went 3 years before, he said the same about Mourinho. So it's not unusual that United are in this position year 2, 3 of a manager. And me, the biggest common denominator there is the players. We've got players that Mourinho was playing. And until we have a clear out, I think it's problematic. But on the style of play thing, I'm quite relaxed about it in the sense that we've got two options with those players. We try and play how we have the last few games where it's a bit chaotic. It's a basketball game, one end to the other, because we've got to press high, but we've got slow defenders. So there's going to be a massive gap in the midfield. It's entertaining. It's stressful, but, you get goals, or you sit deep, low block and counter. And I don't think we can do anything else with those players. So people talk a style of play like if you drop Pep Guardiola in there, you're going to play like Man City. That's not going to happen. It's definitely a player problem at Manchester United. There's not actually massive similarities. There are similarities between Ajax and Manchester United. It's just that Ajax used to get broken on a lot as well, but not as much because they've got better players with the ball on the attack and they've got more energetic players to get back. The problem is we don't have the right players for the system Ten Hag wants to play. So for me, there are two options. Do people want us to park the bus or play how we're playing? We're playing how we're playing. There are massive holes in it, but we've also had 60 injuries this season. We can't play like Arsenal, Liverpool or Man City. We're going to keep playing like this. And it amazes me that United fans think this is going to change with the current set of players. We've got to change that in the summer if we want to get closer to the other teams.
So to play more like Ajax, you need to go back to Ajax and pick up some more of Eric Ten Hag's players like he's been doing the last couple of years.
Well, no, I mean, I think actually in the Premier League, if you had an Alexi McAllister, if you had a Declan Rice, if you had Szoboszlai, if you had Odegaard, if you had Rodri, if you had Bissouma, James Maddison, there's plenty of players in the Premier League that I think that could play the way that Ten Hag wants to play. Unfortunately, he's doing it with people like Eriksen, Scott McTominay, Kobe Mainoo's brilliant, but he's 18. We were expecting so much from a breakthrough 18-year-old. Casemiro looks like his legs have gone now. So yeah, I think with better players, we'd be a better team. But I mean, every club can say that. There'll be West Ham fans saying, yeah, we could do that as well. It's whether the owners are going to be patient and deliver that, or they're going to stick with the players that we've stuck with for years. Because if we've still got the same players next year, we'll be having the same conversation again.
And so far, in this conversation, we've mentioned Liverpool a few times, Jurgen Klopp leaving. News this week that Ruben Amorim looks set to become their new gaffer. So what do you make of that? Do you think that's the right choice to replace, a gargantuan in Jurgen Klopp? And would you have taken Amorim at Manchester United right now if you could swap for Eric Ten Hag?
I wouldn't swap Ten Hag for anyone at the moment. I think the players need to go first. And I think Ten Hag I think any project should get 3 years or go into a third year. And I think he's only had 2. So I'd stick with what we've got. With regards to Liverpool, they've got to do something. Jurgen Klopp is going to be a massive loss. Even as a Man United fan, I respect what he's done there. He's got such personality. The club, it will always be Liverpool, but it's Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. And whether you go from Klopp to Pep, I still think I'd be like, will this work? And Pep's a great manager. So they're always going to be taking a punt on somebody. They will have to be a bit patient. It's a big step up for Amorim, but I think Alonso's obviously not going to go, so the market's not that good. I mean, I think De Zerbi would be a massive risk. Nagelsmann probably would as well. So I think Amorim looks like the best of the rest, and he has a style of football that will be close to what Liverpool play with Klopp in relation to energy. There's a really good squad there, but look, I think Liverpool is going to be intriguing next year. They could have a first year like Ange, where they fight for the title, because that would be the equivalent for Liverpool. They could have a season like Poch, where it's like it just doesn't work for the first year or so. So I think Liverpool fans are intelligent enough to realise they can't just expect to seamlessly go from one of the greatest managers they've ever had and continue, because in a way that would be almost disrespectful to Klopp as to how easy it is, and it's not easy. So I'm intrigued how it's going to work, but I think he's the right man to go for from the list that's available now.
And I guess on the back of that as well, like Liverpool have been described this year as chaotic, and people are still wondering how they're able to pull results out. Is that because of Jurgen Klopp? So say you do put Amorim in this chaotic environment with players like Darwin Núñez, who can run a bit hot and cold. Could he still get the best out of them how Klopp has, or will it take that time, you still think?
Well, Klopp's a mentality king, isn't he? I mean, you see him on the touchline and they'll miss a golden opportunity in a big game. Like, I was watching the Man City game and I think they were losing and they missed a big chance. And he's just like, he doesn't portray the disappointment. He'll be like, oh, and then he'll try and get the crowd up. And it's like, he's a mentality king. So when you've got that behind the scenes, we only see what he does on the touchline. It's a huge influence on the personality of the team, that when things go bad, you've got this manager saying it will be all right, we'll go again. Obviously, a new manager coming into a new league, he might have those traits straight away, but do the players trust it? Have they done it with him? Klopp's had so many late winners, so many trophies. So trust takes time for those players to build with a new manager. And look, it can work straight away. It's unlikely to work straight away, but it can do. But I think, they're gonna have to get to know each other, the fans, the players, and the manager, and that's an opportunity potentially for all those clubs who want to sort of move in on Liverpool's space as well.